Hello everyone, welcome to the coding tuition. In this video, we will understand everything about slicing an array in Python. This video will be enough to clear all of your doubts about slicing an array, and the same concepts will also apply on lists and strings in Python. So let's get started with the video. The agenda for today is, first we will understand what is slicing, then we will see how to do slicing in 1D array, then we will understand two main concepts of step size and negative slicing, and in the end we will see how to do slicing in 2D array. Okay, so let us first understand what is slicing. So to understand slicing, let us first consider an array. Here is an array. It has 6 elements and the index range from 0 to 5. Okay, now since we have an array, now if we want to get the first 3 elements of an array, or I will ask you how to get elements between the second and the fifth element, so here slicing comes into the picture. So basically, whenever we want a range of element from an already existing array, then slicing comes into the picture. So what is slicing? Slicing refers to extracting a range of elements from the array. If we again go to the previous questions, that is how to get the first 3 elements of the array, that means we want to extract the first 3 elements of the array. This is what slicing means. Now let us understand the syntax of slicing. So first we have to mention the array name, then inside the square bracket there are 3 parameters or arguments. First is the start, second is the end, and the third is the step size. We will understand about each and every parameter in detail, and this whole expression will give us a new array and we will store it in a new array. Okay, now if we don't mention anything about start, then it is by default considered as 0. Similarly, the default value of end is n, where n is the number of elements in the array. So in the previous array the number of elements was 6. So if we don't mention anything in the end, it will be considered as 6 if we take an example of the previous array. Similarly, the default value of step size is 1. We will understand what is start and step size in detail in the further slides. Now let us understand slicing with various examples. To understand slicing, first we need to create an array. Here we are creating an array using the arange function. If you have not watched my previous videos where we have discussed about arange function, you can watch those. So here we will get an array of 6 elements and the first element will be 10 and the last element will be 15. Okay, now this is what our array will look like. Okay, now let us understand slicing with various examples. Now if we want to retrieve from the second to the fifth element, okay, now if you see the array, you will see the second element is 11. No, if we are saying the second element to the fifth element, we are talking about indices. Okay, so here the second element is 12 and the fifth element is 15. Now if we want to extract all the elements from the second to the fifth element, now how to do it in slicing? What we have seen before is, inside the first we will write the array name, then we will write the start index, and then the end index, and then the step size. Okay, here the step size is missing, so by default it is considered as 1. So here the start index is 2, that is it will start from 12. Okay, and the end index is 5, that is it should end at 15. Okay, now let's see what is the result. Here we were supposed to get 4 elements, that is 12, 13, 14 and 15, but here we got only 3 elements and our result is incorrect. Now let us understand why. We have mentioned here the end index as 5, but it goes till 4 only. Why is it so? Because always note the result includes the start index but excludes the end index. Okay, so whatever we will mention as the end index, it will not include that into the original result. Okay, now if we want to get the fifth element also into our result, we want to add 1 to the end index. Okay, if we want to retrieve the element from the second to the fifth element, we need to mention the start index as 2 and the end index as 6, so that it will include the start index which is 2 and it will exclude the end index which is 6. So it will go from index 2 to 5 and we will get a desired result. Okay, I hope this is clear. Now let's move on to some other examples. Now here is our array. Now if the question is retrieve all elements, that is we want to retrieve all the elements from index 0 to index 5. So as we have seen in the previous example, what we will do, we will write the start index and the end index. The start index will be 0 and the end index will be 1 greater than 5, which is 6. So the result will be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 and 15. That is, we are retrieving all the elements of the array. But we can also do the same thing in another way. If you remember, the default value of start is always 0. Okay, so even if you don't mention start index, then also it will be considered as 0, and the default value of the end index is always equal to n, that is number of elements of the array. Here the array has 6 elements and here we are writing 6, so there is no need to mention the end index also. So instead of this, we can directly write a inside square bracket the colon, nothing in the start and nothing in the end. It will consider as 0 and 6, and we will get the result same as before. Okay, now let's see how to retrieve all the elements from index 2. Easy. Inside a square bracket we will write a start index, because the start index is not starting with 0 now. Here we are explicitly mentioning 2, but the end index is still same, that is from index 2 we will go towards the end, so there is no need to mention the end index and we will get the desired result. Similarly, if we want to retrieve all the elements from the 0th index till the index 3, there is no need to explain about this. Here, since the start index is 0, no need to mention the start index, but we need to mention the end index. Since we want to reach till index 3, we will mention 1 greater than 3, that is 4. So we will get a desired result. Okay, I hope this much is clear. Now let us understand the third parameter in slicing, which is the step size. Okay, so this was our array, and if we consider the previous example, that is retrieve from the 2nd to the 5th element, what we did is we gave the start index as 2 and the end index as 6. Okay, then what happens is slicing will start from 12. Okay, then it will jump once to the next element. Okay, then again it will jump 1 to the next element, then again to the next element, that is 15. Why it is jumping once? Because here the step size is not mentioned, and if we recall that if we don't mention the step size, it is considered as 1, therefore we are jumping one time. So what can we say about the step size is, step size basically determines how many steps to jump to get the next element. Now let us understand this with one more example. Now if we write the same question, that is retrieve 2nd to the 5th element, now but the step size is 2. Now what happens is we will give the start index as 2, end index as 6, and here the step size is not 1, it is 2. So what it will do is it will start from 12. Since the step size is 2, it will jump twice to get the next element, which is 14. Then again it will jump twice to get the next element. Now at this position there is no element, so the third element is not present, and the result is 12, 14. Okay, I hope you have understood what step size is. Now let's move on to the next concept. The next concept is about negative slicing. So if we consider an array, its index starts from 0. Okay, also there is another concept of negative indexing. If we talk about negative index, here the last element of the array always starts from -1, then the next element is -2 and so on, and the first element is -6. Okay, the first element of the array in positive indexing starts from 0, and the first element of the array in negative indexing starts with the number of elements in the array. Okay, I hope this much is clear what is negative indexing. Now we have not talked about negative slicing, we are talking about negative indexing. Okay, now another concept is, if we want to convert a negative index to a positive index, how to do that? That is add n, that is number of elements to it. Okay, now if we want to convert a of 1 means, here the index is negative, a of 1 means we are accessing the last element, that is 15. Now how to convert this -1 to a positive is, we need to add n, that is number of elements to it. If we add 6 to -1, we will get 5. So we can say that a of 1 is equivalent to a of 5, and also in the diagram it shows the same. Okay, now let's see some of the examples of negative slicing. So here is the array. The array again has 6 elements, and in the first row all the indexes are positive index, and in the second row we have negative index. Now if we consider a of -6, that is the start index is -6, so what we will get is we will get all the element from the starting index towards the end of the array, and the results also shows the same. Okay, in a similar way, if we want to convert this to a positive index, what we will do is we will add the number of elements, that is 6, to the already existing start index, which is -6. So 6 plus of -6 we will get 0, and we can get the same results by keeping start index as 0. Okay, now let's see another example. Here the start index is -5 and the end index is -1. So the first element of our new array will be 11, and since the end index is -1, it will exclude this and it will go 1 before -1, that is -2. So our result will be 11, 12, 13 and 14. Similarly, we can convert the same into positive indexing by adding 6 to -5, we will get 1. Similarly, adding 6 to -1, we will get 5, and the result is same. Okay, now let's see negative slicing with step size. Here, as the previous example, the start index is -5, end index is -1, step size is 2. So it will start from index -5, which is 11. It will jump twice to get the next element, which is 13. Again it will jump twice to get the next element, but here the index is -1 and we want to exclude this, so we will not add 15 to our result. Okay, so the result will be 11, 13. Similarly, if we want to traverse the array in reverse order, that is, if we give the start index as -1 and the end index as -5, what will happen is it will go from -1 to index -5. Okay, but it will exclude -5, and here we have mentioned step size as -1. That means it will jump backwards. Okay, so it will start from index -1, then it will jump backwards one time because the step size is -1, then again it will jump backward one time, similarly again. So here the result will be 15, 14, 13 and 12. Okay, I hope you have understood what is negative indexing, what is negative slicing, and negative slicing with step size. Now let us understand about slicing in 2D array. So let us understand a 2D array first. A 2D array is a rectangular array with more than one rows and more than one column. Okay, here the row index starts from 0 and also the column index starts from 0. Okay, so let us first create a 2D array. Here we have created a 2D array, a 3 cross 3 array. Okay, 3 rows and 3 columns. The start index of the array is 0. Now if you observe in the previous example, we were working only in 1D array. Okay, so therefore inside the array, whatever the name is, inside the array A, we were giving one colon, and inside that we were writing the start and the end index. But here we are working with 2D array. Okay, so there will be number of rows and number of columns, so we will apply slicing 2 times. Okay, so one is for the row and second is for the column. So this part of the slicing will go for the row and this part of the slicing will go for the column. Let us understand this with an example. Now here we have written, here the array is A. Okay, so what we have written, A, inside square bracket we have put a colon, then a comma, then again a colon. Okay, so what this tells is the comma tells is the left part is for the row and the right part is for the column. Now let us consider to the left part, which is for the row. Here the start index is missing, that is by default it will consider as 0. Okay, and the end index is missing, that is by default it will consider as the number of rows, so it will be equivalent to 0 colon and 3. Okay, that means we will get all the rows. Similarly for the column we will get all the columns. So basically this will result in getting the whole original matrix, and this is what the result is. Now let's understand the next example. Inside the square bracket we are writing 0 colon 2. Now this part before the comma is for the row and after the comma is for the column. Now here we are writing 0, 2, that is the start index of the row is 0 and the end index is 1. Okay, so it will go from 0, 1 and it will exclude 2. So that basically it will give us the first 2 rows, and here for the column we are mentioning nothing for the start and end, so we will get all the columns. So basically here we will get is first 2 rows and all the 3 columns. Okay, now let us understand another example. Here we are mentioning nothing for the row, so basically we will get all the 3 rows, but inside the column part we are giving 0, 1, that is it will start from 0 and it will end at 1, but it will exclude 1, that is it will contain only the first column. So we got the result as 10, 13 and 16, which is a column matrix. Okay, now let us understand the last example. Here inside the row we are giving 0, 2, that is we are getting the first 2 rows. Inside the column slicing we are giving 0, 2, that is we are getting the first 2 columns. So basically what we are doing is we are extracting the first 2 rows and the first 2 columns. So this was about slicing an array. The same concepts also applies on lists and string. You can apply the same concept over there, and if you found any difficulty then please comment down below, and if you found this video helpful then do like the video and share this video with your friends, and please subscribe to the channel to show your support. Thank you for giving your time. Bye.